We are joined
in the handsome chair by...
Oh, the handsome chair. That's good. It's comedian Al Jackson joining us.
Hey, I was into the electric chair talk. And then, Tom, you said something. You said a word you don't hear that much anymore, but my childhood was filled with it. Going to Sears, going to JCPenney, Husky.
Yeah.
When did Husky go? There was a Husky section in TJ Maxx.
Right.
Where did Husky go?
It's not a bad word.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's. I think it's inoffensive. I mean,
Sure.
It seems like a word that would be chosen by people that are overweight advocates or whatever you will call them, to be like, hey, because somebody might be like, well, a doctor can say that you're fat. It's just fat on your body. And they're like, I don't like that word. Well, what word do you want? I would want husky. I like that. It's kind of like
a friendly
masculine
dog.
And,
Yeah.
animalistic.
I'll be honest, though, Al, I'm a fan of the word fat because I don't think it should have the negative connotations that it does. We should all be comfortable with saying fat.
Huh.
Yes, absolutely. And and I say this all the time on the show, and you still have to watch yourself, even when you are trying to show that you're down with something. But there's like all this talk about body shaming and like, oh, Rihanna looked what a chubby on the Super Bowl. There's a lot of dudes that like that.
Yes. You can be fat and look good.
It's just like it's in it. Some guys, I used to hang out with the dude and we were perfect for hanging out together. My homeboy, Ronnie, down in Miami, he liked waifs.
Oh, really? Yeah. Like an olive oil type?
Yes, bro. Like, I remember talking to him. We were hammered. And I was like, how big is too big for you? He's like, anything over 115, I'm out.
Oh.
It's just his thing.
I know.
He's
and
not
I was
being
like,
judgmental.
Me, Christy, I was
You're
like,
the opposite.
Hey.
Yeah, give me that BB Rexa or whatever.
Yeah, I like him curvy. So it's just interesting that, like, you can't even... I feel like I've been shamed as a dude that I like my women...
thick.
Soft.
Yeah.
I like them curvy and like that's feminine. I like that.
You use the term curvy.
Sure.
But you wouldn't say, I'm sorry, you wouldn't say, I meant, you see this young lady? Husky.
No.
Doesn't go both
You wouldn't.
ways.
There's one word you can call a woman that I think is worse than the C word.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Dumpy. Don't ever, if you refer to a woman as dumpy, that's not like a positive.
That's a weird that Josh, you stumbled onto something. There needs to be a genre of words that are not curse words, not words that you could not say in an office place, but are worse than any of those words that would be on
Right. Yeah, that's one of them.
So we need to have the listeners write in for words that are legal but way worse. Dumpy's number one in the college preseason poll.
We were talking about this yesterday. That do you ever have the kids in the car and there's that radio station that plays kids versions of song Kidz Bop?
Sure.
I would imagine that's mostly what you listen to.
Yeah, and I was really surprised they did that song "Shut Up and Dance." They actually said "shut up" because
Shut up is bad in your
if our
house.
kids slip and say the F word or the S word, it's okay. But if they say "shut up," especially to mom, yikes!
Man, I can't even imagine saying that to one of my parents.
Me either.
It's inconceivable.
Yeah.
Now, Al, can you imagine if you were on Daily Blast Live and one of the other folks on the panel looked at you and said, "Hey, shut up, Al"? It'd be game on.
That happened in a Ted Lasso episode recently. There's a little girl that is in the car and she goes, "Can I say a bad word?" And her uncle goes, "Yes, you may." And she goes, "You're stupid."
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, in our house, you couldn't say the word stupid.
It was another episode of Ted Lasso where that happened, where I was watching it and I was screaming "shut up" at the television.
Josh, are you not on the Ted Lasso train?
No, he's not.
It's kind of a running gag. I've never actually watched it.
I've never watched it either, but I won't because other people like it.
Right.
Except Joy.
It's great writing.
Really good show.
Lovely.
Al, what about the term, and this is somewhat pretentious, Rubenesque, or I think technically it should be Rubens-esque, for the weightier, fleshier.
See, it's nice, but I think all these are terms for people to try to not say fat. And We shouldn't have fat should not have the negative connotations it does.
How about something is corpulent acceptable?
No.
See again, I think it's just
like
masking something.
What about wide load? What about that?
Morbidly obese.
Beef cadet?
Oh my gosh.
Beef cadet.
I remember that.
Crazy. That's a good one.
Al Jackson is our guest. I'm
what
sorry,
about
Al.
thickums? Let me ask Christy.
Thickums.
Thickums, because I would say in a lot of like urban parlance, you could get away with saying, man, she's a thickums. But I think if you were talking with like overweight people advocate, they would find that offensive. Whereas like, I feel like the streets kind of determine what's offensive and not. And like we are the streets, even you, Tom. And we've all determined Husky is not offensive. But I feel like somebody that like makes their living finding those words would figure out a way. A husky's an animal and they can balloon up to 400 pounds. It's like whatever. Some dudes like that. Some women like that.
I don't know. I will say, though, if I was like riding the train and like a group of 17-year-olds were making fun of me and one of them called me Husky, that would hurt, man. That would totally hit, I think, out of the wrong mouth. It's not a compliment.
Willie G, I will tell you this. Speaking of words that are totally inoffensive, and this one is actually maybe the most common word you'll ever hear in your life, and it still rings in my head to this day. This is probably 15 years ago. Me and my buddy Forshaw, I think I've told the story before. I think he's been on the show before, but he travels with Jim Jeffries as his opening act. And we were playing pickup basketball in Miami, and there were these high school kids that were playing on one end of the court, and there were 8 of them, and they needed 2 guys. So they were like, do you guys want to play full court? So we were like, okay. And so we go and we kind of mash up, and one of the high school guys said to the other one, what teams is everybody on? And he said, well, it's me, you, and the 2 adults and Mike, and just him calling us adults. It just like, he just said it so like, it was such a removal of, I didn't think I was that old at that. I was probably like 30, but it killed me. Me, you, and the 2 adults.
You didn't identify as an adult.
No, yeah, it's right.
But this kind of proves, like, honestly, there are only, I'm going to say 10 words that are offensive on their own. That just as a word, they are completely offensive. The rest is all about intent. It's all about intent.
Josh, we don't have time to talk about that when we have time to. We just got to cancel people. Let's just ruin somebody's career.
Right.
Destroy their family so they can't look their kid in the eye at dinner.
Tom,
and then we'll determine later that that's actually a positive term, but it's too late.
We had a story. I don't know that we talked about it, but you and I definitely talked about it. And I would like to get Al's opinion on this. Did you see the lady on the news? She was a middle-aged white woman, maybe a little older, and they were talking about Snoop Dogg's new wine.
Yes.
And she used the full phrase, the Faux Shizzle phrase.
Yes.
Where do you come down on that? And she was asked, I don't know if she was fired. I don't remember.
She was asked to go off the air. They took her off the air.
No, she was not.
Yes.
Christy, please tell me that's not true.
No, they took her off the air. Yes, it's a true story.
Okay, here's where, as somebody that's on TV, I'm just saying in general, because I don't agree that she should. I don't think there's anybody watching that saw that woman and said, you know what, she woke up that morning like, today I'm going to subvertly put in, a racial. I don't think, if I'm wrong, if she is some kind of master manipulator of linguistics, okay. But you know what it was? It was somebody from a different generation trying to relate. And ironically, the phrase she was using is probably, Snoop is like 55. That phrase is probably 30 years old.
Right.
She heard it, didn't understand it, which should be to her credit, which means that it's not really in her head what she was saying, obviously.
Yeah. And
so the idea that you remove her from air rather than having a fun like, dude, why did we just let the squares take over?
Yes.
I hate where we are as a society, where we just have I don't like that, and we hate. It's like, where are the fun kids in the class? It was like, man, chill out. Like, she clearly didn't mean anything by it.
She didn't know what it meant. When I read the article, Al, I texted both Willie and Josh. I said, I don't even, what's the problem? What'd she say? I don't get it.
Right.
Because I don't know anything about, all I know is that he had everything rhymed with Izzle. I thought it was like pig Latin.
Yeah, you
I didn't read it was referential.
That's a good idea. I could see that.
I think the word you're looking for, it's the gotcha mentality. There are people who wake up every day waiting for anyone to do anything, and they go, gotcha.
And please, not to interrupt, it's not pig Latin, it's doggy dog Latin. Please get that right.
Okay.
Especially on his birthday today.
And Snoop
honestly,
Snoop
Tom,
has
what
become
you're
so
talking
mainstream.
about- Yeah, I mean, people. What happened was, it was like there were things going on in our society that weren't cool, and we started calling them out and being like, "Hey, you shouldn't say that." And you should. And people were like, "You know what? You shouldn't say that. That's kind of like offensive to indigenous people." Or okay, that's cool. But then it became somebody's job.
Yeah.
And once it becomes your job, you are not receiving it. You're out looking for it, and you got to pay your bills just like anybody else. And so if you have to feed your website or your YouTube page with like, here's the daily outrage of the day, you have to comb through things to find things. And anything that's on the borderline, you just put this person in front of your millions of users. Their boss has to react. And now here we are. And what happens is you start to change people's minds in terms of, hey, I don't want to offend people, but now I will use the word hate because I hate the people that are like seeking these people out like Terminators when it's really just like, in this case, it's an older woman trying to like, I could see somebody that I loved saying something. I've said things where I didn't know like really what they really meant. You're like, oh, that means that's a term that was used. Well, I don't know what are we doing here?
Right.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
They're out to get
Yes.
you. And a lot of, as terms change, it needs to be explained. For example, a place like Squaw Valley is changing its name.
Yeah, sure.
But that has to be explained to people why they're doing it, what the origin of the word is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And instead of just jumping all over them, oh, my God, he said Squaw Valley. We have to get a quick word in here. We only have time for one word today. Al, can you help me with the latest word out there?
Yes, that word is Squaw Valley. Oh, man. Okay. I love y'all so much. All right, Tom, we only got time for one. Tom, use the phrase mad heated, son.
Love it.
Is that heated, Heated?
Yes.
Mad heated, son. Anger? She was mad heated, son.
That's what I would have guessed.
Yeah.
No?
No, I mean, no, you got it. It means like to be angry. I'll give you that. But I need you to use it properly. I feel like you're starting to get the terms, but you still work them in like an FBI agent that teaches other FBI
Let's be
agents.
clear really quick. I feel like you want to say, I just got a new Range Rover. Those seats are mad heated.
Oh boy. I don't know if you saw the guy in the tux, but the trousers only came 3 inches below his knee, so he arrived at the wedding mad heated, son.
He was angry about it, huh?
Oh.
No?
What?
No?
Trousers.
Doesn't apply to trousers?
Not at all. Chicky, can you help him out?
No, I'm mad heated at Tom for saying trousers.
That's it.
Yes. Mad heated.
It means extra angry?
So angry, yes.
Okay. All right. Al Jackson is featured on the Daily Blast Live and occasionally hits the road doing stand-up comedy when he's not on his commentary show. Have the rest of the cast of your show seen you do stand-up?
Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely. I've performed here at the Comedy Works a lot, and I have a bunch of shows this weekend. But they're local shows. My new album, which I'll announce, will be out next week. So I'm working on new material. So I'm staying around this summer, and then I want to see if I can put on another album in like another 6-8 months. So we're gonna put the pedal to the metal.
And what's the title of the new one?
Tom, I'm so glad you said that. Let's take a vote, and I swear, just from the Bob and Tom audience, whatever the vote is, I will go with. I'm doing two different things. Obviously, I talk about my car being stolen and my house being burglarized. So my two title options were, one, you got to walk with that.
All
and
right.
that's what Hannibal told me when I was sitting in my empty home. And he was like, you know what? She's got to walk with that for the rest of her life, what she did. Or I was going to call it Thieves in the Night.
Oh, I like the first one.
Me too.
Those are the two. Right now, the first one's the leading candidate. But
Yeah.
How do you feel about shortening it to walk with that?
oh, I like that.
Everybody hates it?
'Cause you got to
No,
walk
I
with
like
that.
that.
It's
I hate
clumsy.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I think Thieves in the Night sounds too much like the new Game of Thrones book. So I would go with the latter.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh, one of those spin-off series. Yeah,
Yeah, walk with that. That's cool.
walk with that. Yeah.
Well,
If anybody likes Thieves in the Night, let me know because my both my things were stolen overnight. My car and my home. So
and your ceiling
it does
fans.
have some resonance with me, but I like walk with that. I'll never forget he said that to me. I was sitting in my empty basement. I was like, you know what? He's right.
That's
and
good.
now I'm going to Target.
And you don't want to get pinned for cultural appropriation, Al. So please don't spell walk W-O-K. That's very insensitive.
Okay.
So please.
Right.
I guarantee you that's already a cooking a cookbook. I guarantee.